Okay, hello, good evening, everybody. I hope everyone can hear me. Now, this was going to be actually a different show. I was going to actually do it Saturday, but circumstances changed within a few hours. So I'll go ahead and tell you what happened. So the other day I made a video and I had said, I'd gotten this message that this person had wanted to kill herself. So today I get the same sort of message. It wasn't direct to me, but it was, I guess several people got this message this time, thank goodness. So I didn't, my first thought was, well, after the last time, maybe it was just, she was feeling down or whatever. And so I kind of, I reached out to the person that had reached out to me before and said, is she okay? And at that time she was. And so it was around like 3 o'clock, I think, I got a message to say she wasn't okay. They apparently, she called someone, she decided that, she was going to end it because what she had said on the message was that she was going to write all her goodbye letters and stuff like that tonight. And, anyway, so apparently they managed to get the police to her house and stopped her. They called her parents to come get the kids, and she's in the hospital. So well done, Rat Squad. You've encouraged people to be radar on here, knowing that she was fragile. Big round of applause for you, Chicago Muscle, because you knew that she was vulnerable and fragile and easily manipulated. And you did treat her like dirt. I saw several, one time they didn't get the picture up in time or something like that. And you made her literally beg to be able to stay in Team Muscle. I just think, what I'd said before, people think it's a joke. Some people on here are really fragile. They are. And she's one of those people. These kids would have been left without a mother today had, somebody not got over there in time. And why? Because of YouTube. Because she's been verbally abused, talked about like a dog. I know, and fair enough, she's given it back. But, at the end of the day, is it worth somebody's life? Is it worth these kids to be motherless over the fact that you want to call someone a cunt, a whore, a bitch, all these nasty things you all call people? Is it worth it? Somebody will be joining me shortly that knows a little more about what happened, because she's closer to her than I am. I mean, like I said, I don't really know that much about her, other than what's been on here. I don't really know that much, but one of her friends is going to come on and tell you all what happened. So while I'm waiting for her, let's get to it. Now, first of all, Harambe, okay? I'm going to address you first because, you're the head of the snake, if you will. Now, hold on one second. Now, let me explain something to you, Harambe, okay? You seem to have, like, problems, computing stuff. It's understandable, but here's the deal. I will never, ever apologize to you or any of you Rat Squad people. Okay, I've seen the apology tours going around. No, no. You're talking about, I don't watch your stinking stupid show with your freaking clowns on there. But let me tell you something. They sent me a clip of I will never forgive you. Let me tell you something. I'm not going to swear. I'm not going to swear. Let me tell you something. Number one, I at no time called your wife's job. At no time. And I'll tell you why I didn't. You know why, Harambe? Because I've got an attorney. And my attorney advised me not to contact the firm directly. Me personally, am taking another route. Okay? So get that through your noggin. I don't call people's jobs. I don't do that type of shit. That's what you lot do. That's what you lot threatened to do to me freaking months ago. There's video of Piggy saying it. So, take that and shove it up your rear end. Okay? Now, what everybody else is doing, I don't know. I'm not with everybody else. I'm doing me. Okay? I don't have to make phone calls and conference calls. Hey, what are you doing today? Hey, this, hey, that. You must be out of your freaking mind. Okay? If you think I will ever apologize to any of you assholes. Okay? So get that straight. And nor did I. Now, I went on Deadly's show. I know I was going into the lion's den. He's got all your people over there and the FBS's people. I know what was going to happen. But I'm not concerned with the chat. They're all crazy. I don't care what they say. I just wanted to address Angela Jade because she got up there and straight up lied. Okay? Lied. Now, what I actually said was, and I remembered a little more because it was, I may have said it a couple of times, was, I don't know what these bitches are arguing about. I don't understand it. I said that. I said she gave me bad vibes. I said that. At no time did I say I hate her or I don't like her. In fact, go back to a couple of shows ago where I said she had upset Chicago Muscle because she had made a phone call with Harambe and didn't tell him about it till about a week later. And the only reason she told him about it was because Harambe was boasting about it and he put the recordings out. And I got those recordings and I was going to go through them. There were two. So I was going to go through them and critique them one by one. But what had happened is she called, Chicago Muscle, went off on her. And then she was messaging him, begging him to call her. So he called her. And he was on the phone with her for several hours. And she was crying and sobbing the whole time. And what happened is I had been out shopping. I'd come home and my phone's ringing. And I look, it says no caller ID when he's calling. And it was his wife. So I said, oh, what's going on? And so she said, well, because earlier in the day, Chicago Muscle was going to be done with her completely and whatever. She said, he asked me to call you. He's on the phone right now with Angela Jade. And they are, she's been crying for hours. She said, I've talked to her. She's sobbing. And so at that point, if you look at the video, go and look at the video, I said, the woman obviously has trauma. I'm not trying to add to it. I'm not going to play the recordings, but I'm just going to peel off a couple of the things that aggravated me about those recordings. There was a lot, actually. If you listen to it, you'd understand a lot more. But I wasn't going to put them up because of her, because she was so upset. And I told Chicago Muscle's wife, I don't hate her. I don't dislike her. I said, I don't know her. I just didn't like the vibe. I didn't like that environment. They're getting into other people's communities. We don't know what the hell's going on over there. You know what I mean? And so the people in this community were watching that show. I wasn't the only one that said that. I wasn't the only one. You know, I'm not the only one that said what the hell's going on over here. You know, so there you go. And there you have it. So when she got up there and said, I called her a bitch and I hate her and whatever. No, I went to correct that. I wasn't apologizing to her. I was just correcting her. Okay. I'm not apologizing to none of you. You know, if anything, you owe me an apology. You're the ones took my social security number and called my job and all the rest of it. So don't, if you're looking for an apology from me, excuse me, somebody in the chat, see if hell has frozen over. You know, go kiss my ass, Harambe. Okay? Now, secondly, Kevin, I was sent a screenshot of what you put up. Okay? Now, here's the thing, Kevin. All right? I'm going to tell you this again. You are the biggest weasel kiss ass on YouTube. You are. You started off with FBS and Lee doing dirt there, causing problems between them. You've virtually been round to every single creator and caused problems, talking about and doing snidey crap, recording people, sending memes and this and that over people. That's what you do. And you've been doing that for over 1.5 years, right? That's what you've been doing. Now, you have nowhere, you know, you've nowhere to go. You're a ship lost in the storm. So you've sailed into Harambe's harbour and you're over there like a big bitch. FPS, you know, when we started, I gave you my ID with my details on it, my address, everything. And that meant I trust you with my life. What a big girl's blouse you are. What a jam tart you are. Are you kidding me? Listen, if you hadn't have sent him your ID card, he would have found your ass anyway. He didn't need your ID card. And even if you did do that, you are responsible for that video that went around that you were talking about, Shanna. You brought that to the table. You did. And if you don't believe me, ask Chicky. Chicky's trying to stay out of it right now. He's got shit to do with his probation and stuff. So he's doing him. And rightly so. But yeah, Chicky swore on his grandchildren. So don't sit up there saying you had nothing to do with that, you lying sack. Okay? So if anyone's a pig around here, it's you. And let me tell you why else you're a pig, Kevin. Okay? I told you before, I warned you before, leave Carmine alone. Now, what happened is, people, as soon as Chicago Muscle ran off, old Kevin starts harassing Carmine. Calls him up and said, you know, yeah, you chose the wrong side. Now you're going to pay. You aligned yourself with Chicago Muscle. The man is an old, sick, dying man. He can align himself with the King of Siam if he wants to. What has that got to do with you? Number one. Number two, leave that man alone. He's sick. He can do whatever the hell he wants. And he doesn't need... What type of sack are you that you would call an old man dying of cancer and rebuke him and you know, torment him and aggravate him because he sided with Chicago Muscle? Hang on, let me go to the chat. I'm sorry, people. Yeah, I'm going to switch to avatar so I can see. Hold on. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, there we go. All right, so let me just quickly say hi to everyone. Hey, Maddie. Hi, Karen. Hey, Anthony, Raimundi, Carol, Irish Mob, Facts Over Feelings. How you doing? Redzilla, you crack me up. You do. You put up some good movies. Damn it, Mandy. Packs Need Gas Money. Let's see. Truth Be Told. Yeah, DJ. How you doing? Frank Calabria. Mobland. Hey, MB. How are you? Denise. Yeah. Yeah, exactly, Mr. Raymundi. We need to straighten this whole thing out because, these people, let me start with this, okay? So, hang on, let me grab some water right quick. Hang on. So, hold on 1 second, 1 quick minute. Okay, so what had happened is, I'm going to start with my relationship with Chicago Muscle. I'm not going to go over the whole thing, but, we had fallen out, and he had, some months later, he had apologized to me. I'd apologized to him. We didn't see eye to eye on something. So, we kind of didn't join forces exactly. I mean, I would still do my own thing. He was still doing his own thing. Right. So now a lot of people, and I just want to say something to Downneck. Hold on 1 sec. Okay. Yeah, I just want to say something to Downneck. Don't worry about it. Downneck was muscle all the way, and he said he was going to unsubscribe and whatever. Listen, it's not that serious. It really isn't. A lot of people were taken in. A lot of people believed him. So there you go with that. Now then, okay, Karen S. Yes, Harambe told Deadly to take Marie's wrench, and he did it. They gave Harambe his hardware. Yes, yeah, and that was one of the problems that I was running into. Now in the beginning, when we had a common enemies, we did. So I would do my thing, he would do his thing, and then more and more he wanted me on the panel here and there and whatever. As you noticed, I don't know if anybody did, but I wasn't. I'd go up there in the beginning, and then it got like a little much because I usually only come on once a week. I've got other stuff to do. I'm writing Chronicles too, and you best believe this has taken 20 pages, and I've written 25 pages actually in the last 2 days. This is going to be a doozy. Anyway, hold on a second. Let me bring up. Hey, Sophie, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So can you enlighten us on what happened with your friend there, because you know her better than
Right.
I do, and you can maybe explain it a little better than me.
Well, everybody gets bullied to a certain extent online, right? Mm-hmm. But sometimes it happens to some people more than others. Right. It just happened to her more than usual. Yeah. Plus, she has a lot of stuff going on at home.
Right.
And the two together just it just exploded, I guess. Okay. She had enough.
Right.
And I guess she thought that was the only way out. The only way to end the bullying and the hard times at home and just everything.
So what happened today? Because what kind of shocked me was this is twice in 2 weeks, and it did bother me because on one hand, was she crying wolf? On the other hand, you don't want to take that risk, because people often say, oh, if the people are going to do it, they're just going to do it. They don't say anything. That's not always true.
Right.
Sometimes people say it, and boom, they do it. And obviously that's what was going on today. So, when I talked to you, we texted earlier, she said, you said she was fine. So what happened between then and now?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what really happened.
How did you know?
We have a mutual friend.
Okay.
And she let me know. She let me know.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I'm really worried about her. She might not think that I am right now,
Right.
but I am. I'm really worried about her.
Right.
Um, and you guys, when you bully somebody, you think you're having a good time doing it, right? And you think, haha, it's no big deal. It's just a snide comment, whatever. But you never know what the person on the receiving end is going through and how that comment is going to hit them in the wrong way. You just never
Right.
know. And
Right.
then you get comment on top of comment and comment on top of comment, and it just builds up and builds up until it's too much,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, clearly that's what's happened here. And, the Rat Squad, I don't know what's going on in the knitting community. I'm calling it the knitting community,
I
that's
have,
how I know it. But,
I have no idea what's going on over there.
no, with her, because,
No, I don't know. I'm not
us
sure.
over here, were you in that community?
Yes, I left that community September of last year,
Okay.
and I've
All
just
right.
kind of like been on my own since then. And
Oh,
then, against, best judgment of some people close to me, I started what was supposed to have been a partnership with Johnny Mac, but that
right.
never, you guys know how that
Material.
turned out.
Right.
But yeah, I ended that community
Right.
September of last year.
Right.
There's a couple of people that I'm still talked to from over there, but I have
Right.
no idea who's friends with who and what's going on. I have
No,
no
I
clue.
just wondered what obviously something was going on before she came to this community. So that's, I'm clueless.
Right. Yeah,
Um,
I'm not
but
really
it
sure.
seemed like something was going on, and then she kind of hitched a
And
wagon
I don't even know if it had anything to do with any
that
other
side. Yeah, I
community.
don't
I
know
have I
either,
have
but
no idea. I have no idea.
right, yeah. So I
But
wasn't sure, but I think all communities need to,
yes.
take heed to that.
Yes.
And Brooklyn Smoke Shop said Angela Jade is very vulnerable right now. Please be careful
She
what you
is.
say about her. Well, I'm not
Yes.
saying anything about her, Brooklyn Smoke Shop. What I'm saying is what was said yesterday was not true, and I
Right.
explained it. You know,
Right.
now I was, in the chat over there. I knew I was in the lion's den, but I'm not going to sit back and just let somebody lie on me. The video is there for everybody to see, whether she's vulnerable or
Yes.
not. She's managing to go around on every show. And, my thing is with that, if you're being bullied that much and it's making your life that miserable and your child's life, then don't turn on the computer. That's how I feel about it.
Right. Right.
So that's why I'm saying what I'm saying. I don't know Angela Jade. I don't hate her. I don't dislike her. I don't know her to dislike her. I just felt actually what Chicago Muscle did, bringing that onto his show and, being the
Hmm.
valiant knight for that community, wasn't a good
And he
move.
did that on purpose, is the thing. He did it on purpose. Like
Well,
he
I
put
guess
us on
that
that panel and did all these things to all these different people and sat back and laughed because
right,
he thought that he couldn't be found. But yet
right,
all of us girls that was on the panel had no idea what he was going to say when we got on panel number 1,
right,
and him saying all these things put a target on our heads.
right, right,
And then when people started going after us, he tried to play the shining knight in armor, right? And
Right.
he was anything but.
Right. Right. Exactly. And it turned into something completely different. And so that's what
Yes.
I didn't like. And I kind of, was backing off, as you see. I had already
Me
told him that
too. Yeah, both of us were.
as long as he has that going on, I'm not even going up there. I would come in and out the
Right.
chat just to show support, but I really didn't
Hmm.
even want to do that, to be honest. Now, when it
Right.
comes to him, what were your first impressions of him? I mean, a lot of people are kicking
Oh
themselves in the
my.
arse for doing these apology tours, which I'm not going to do. And
No.
I
Well,
think a lot
I
of people were
apologized
taking it.
last night. I did like a just like a blanket group apology to everybody for
Right.
being on that panel when he was doing these things. Even though I had no idea what he was going to do,
Yeah,
I still stayed for it, and I shouldn't
right.
have.
Right. And
Um,
B1's right. B1 says two entirely separate communities really shouldn't intertwine unless it's organically. You can't just bring people in who have no idea what's going on and don't relate to it at all. And that's really what happened. The
yeah,
people in this community really didn't have a clue, and it
right,
bored me, frankly. I was bored by it because I didn't know what the hell was going on, and,
right.
he was trying to see once went in defense of Maria. um, I'm not sure what happened there. I think it was because he all of a sudden brought Johnny Mac on, and I was mad about that too. I'm like, what the hell is he doing? And then
Right.
gave him a wrench. Then he explained that.
Mhm.
He said it was just for the night and whatever. And then what had happened is um, one particular day, Deadly had gone on Johnny Mac's show. And the next day in the war room that he had, were you in the war room? Did he put you in?
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, it was
I
just
was in just like the group chat on Twitter. There was nothing.
right.
I
Well,
wouldn't call it a
Carmine
war room, so I
in the
don't think.
war room, and we used to laugh. But I'm not really great on Twitter. I only went on it really to communicate with him, and
Same.
and that was really I don't get notifications on it. I just look at it here and there, and I very rarely tweet here and there, and so I would look from time to time, and they'd be having these conversations, and not too much about nothing really. And then I saw Deadly, apologizing profusely. And I'm thinking, what's he apologizing for? So I strolled back, and it was because him and Brittany had gone into Johnny Mac's chat. And I think Johnny Mac had given Deadly a wrench or something like that. And
Yeah.
Chicago Muscle had a fit.
He
He
went
said,
ballistic.
yeah, he said, because as I was reading down, it said, you can have your channel back. I'm gone. That's it. Take my videos down. That's it. It's
Yeah.
done. And,
Yeah.
and Deadly had said, oh, I'm sorry, it won't happen again. And I was thinking then, Deadly, you're allowed to go where you want. But you know what?
Right.
Even though I said that to Deadly, I found myself second guessing myself. For example, I really like Stand Up Guy. Now he got into it with Stand Up Guy, and anyone goes over there, and I would think I would watch Stand Up Guy, but I wouldn't go on, or in his chat most of the time because he had Pizza up there who was busy, using the N word every 5 seconds. So
Mhm.
I wasn't, interested in that. But Stand Up Guy does do good shows when he talks about other things and whatever, and I find him
Right.
funny, and but I second guessed myself, and I thought, well, what are we doing? We're grown adults. Why are we
Yeah.
we're doing what an avatar? We don't know the man. What are we
Exactly.
doing? You know what I mean? It's
Mhm.
ridiculous. But a lot of people kind of did that. And so I started getting kind of disillusioned. Well, you did. What happened with you? Because next thing I knew, you were on the panel at one point, and then you were gone, and
And then
nobody
I
said
was gone.
anything. I had no idea what happened.
Okay, so it was after Johnny Mac had come back after him and Jen Bailey were whatever they were on panel.
Right.
And he had come back and he was talking shit about her. And
Right.
I was like, what the hell is this shit? I
Yeah.
warned you for weeks about this girl.
Right.
Weeks. Did you just do this for content?
Right.
Like, that's what it seemed like to me. So I went into his chat and I said,
Right.
I don't know why you're surprised. I warned you for weeks about her.
Right.
I said, and you owe me a big apology. That's what I said.
And what did he say?
Johnny Mac, he was like, you're right. I do owe you an apology.
Oh, okay.
I owe
So
you
why did you
both an apology?
So why did you feel the need to hide that from Muscle?
Well, I wasn't hiding it. He's seen it.
Oh,
And
he was
he
saying
had
that.
called me and
Okay.
he was like, why do you think you need an apology from this man? This
Right.
man had a thing for you and you're married and just all of these things. And
Yeah,
I'm
it
like,
suddenly
dude,
turned into you being some sort of temptress.
yeah. All because I went into a man's chat.
Right.
Give me a break. And
Yeah.
then it just got worse and worse and worse.
Yeah,
from there.
I was hearing that. I don't agree with, infidelity, and I'm thinking, oh my God, this is getting out of control. You know what I
Yes.
mean? What? Who?
And let me tell you something.
God.
I tell my husband everything. My husband knows everything about YouTube. My husband knows everything that goes on in my life when
Right.
he's at work, right? When I'm on YouTube, he knows everything.
Right. Right.
So it's like, and I told Muscle this, and he's like, "Oh, your husband's just trying to be nice because he don't want to tell you no." I was like, "My husband's not a pussy, number
Right.
one." I
Right.
was like, if he didn't want me going there, he would have told me I would rather you not go there.
Right.
You
Yeah,
know?
you're right, damn it, Mandy. It's really nauseating. Really nauseating. And, check and see if hell is frozen over, please. Because he was on there talking today. I'll never accept her apology. Ain't nobody apologizing to you, Harambe. What, did you dream that? I mean, seriously, you must be crazy. Oh, okay. So anyway, where was I? So that was you gone. And so
Yes. So then he forbid me, after that, he forbid me to go back to Johnny Mac's chat.
okay.
And I'm sitting there telling myself, no faceless, nameless asshole online is going to tell me where I can and cannot go.
Right, right.
So what's the
Right.
first thing I did? I went to Johnny Mac's chat the next time he was live and said hi.
Right, right. And you're
Because
right.
Deadly was in there, Brittany was in there, Angela was in there, Chicago Muscle was in there. Chicago Muscle had a wrench and he blocked me.
Wow.
In Johnny Mac's chat. He blocked
Good
me.
Lord. Yeah, see, and that was the thing. Yeah, B1, you're right. Kevin told Carmine he picked the wrong side and was tormenting him, calling him back to back to back, early in the hours of the morning. The man's a sick man. What is wrong with that fool? I mean, I swear to God. Anyway, yeah, so what had happened with, he went off on Deadly, and then a couple of days later, 2 minutes later, he's in Johnny Mac's chat. He's on his panel.
Yes, ma'am.
And I thought, wait a minute, what's going on? And then I saw Deadly in the chat again and Brittany. And so I thought, well, so what happened between that and now? You know what I mean? I was completely lost. And, let them get on with it. It isn't that, that anybody can go where they want. But for him to berate Deadly for being in Johnny Mac's chat, and then you look around 2 days later and he's in there on the panel.
He told us it wasn't a good look for the team. That's what he said.
Yeah, that's what he said.
It's not a good look.
I thought a couple of days later, there he is on the panel. So, it really made no sense to me. But I mean, I don't care whose show he goes on, In any event, that's what was starting to happen. It was like, he wanted me. Well, it started actually for me with David S. Cameron. And is he around, I wonder? David, I looked. I don't see you anywhere in my blocked list. I'm going to look again tomorrow, but I didn't see you
I
anywhere.
seen him in somebody's chat.
Yeah, he said, I think he said he was blocked from mine, but maybe, that's possible. Chicago Muscle may have blocked him.
You
I
never
don't know.
know. You never
But I
know.
did check, and I didn't see you, David. But anyway, it started with him because, David questions and, I guess he didn't like what David had said or whatever, and they kind of got into it. And I think their argument went more on Twitter, than on YouTube. It was a
Right.
Twitter thing. And so, ultimately, the bottom line was he wanted me to block David Cameron and whatever. And I don't know if I gave David Cameron a wrench. I may have. I'm not sure. But either way, I wasn't going to block him or take his wrench. No.
Right.
I'm not doing that. And so other times, I don't go live that often. I really don't. And, I'd gone live this particular time, and here he goes. He's blocking people left and right, kicking people out. And, but before he came in there, he said, well, MB's got a wrench. I don't think I can come in there. Well, I just was thinking, well, don't come in there then, because I'm not taking her wrench either. You know what I mean? I'm not taking anybody's wrench. I think if he had his way, he would have taken everybody's, that I've given.
This is your channel.
Right.
You know what is right for your channel.
Right. So that's what was not going to happen. And I don't think that necessarily pleased him. However, as it kind of went on, he did a show and David Cameron had said something out the way to him. So he kicked him out. And then C came in and stood up for David Cameron. And he even came on. He kicked him out. Oliver Sutton kicked him out. All the British people.
Wow.
And then he started, slagging off Britain. And I'm British. I'm sitting up there. What are you doing?
Right.
You know what I mean?
You live in the United States, but you're British.
Right. So I said, I'm not going to sit here with this. I'm going to go. So I got off. Well, he was very upset about that, because but at the same, his philosophy really was that I've been in America so long, I'm no longer British. But that's not true.
Wow. No.
I don't care if I'm here till I drop dead. I'm still British. You know what I mean? It doesn't change it.
Right.
So, that was another sticking point, but we kind of got over that. And then the next thing was, while he was going after Harambe, I mean, MRE has said it, while he was going after Harambe and, that side, great, but then it started to change. He started going after our own people that supported him, that were gung-ho, team muscle, and I didn't understand that. I mean, other than, obviously his ego must have gotten so big that he was getting rid of good people left and right.
His ego was out of control.
Right. And so.
And you had asked me, how I first met Chicago Muscle. What was my first impression of him?
Right.
It was when I had done, I did like my first or second show with Johnny Mac.
Right.
And I was looking in my YouTube studio and I had seen a comment from Chicago Muscle. It had been, flagged from, going on under the comments.
Right.
And it was a video. He had tagged a video.
Right.
For me, when he was doing those, little, like he was doing before he left now, just the little 5-minute videos, just trashing people.
Right.
Well, I had clicked on it and I had heard his voice for about 10 seconds and I clicked it off. Okay. I said, oh, hell no. Who is this?
Yeah.
It creeped me out. It did. It creeped me out.
Right.
And I erased it. But he was trashing me for being on panel with Johnny Mac. Is what he was doing in that video.
Oh, really?
And Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. And then
And
he's on panel with Johnny
he
Mac.
got with yeah, then he was on panel, but that's okay because it's him and he chose to do that. But we us women can't choose to do anything we want to do, right?
Right, right.
Oh God.
Oh my
And then
God.
he started with Maria,
Right,
teaming up with Maria and all that. And
right,
then me and him would go back and forth in chat.
right,
Like I was not scared of this man. He did not intimidate me in the least bit.
right,
Me and him would go back and forth in chats.
right,
And then he said that Johnny Mac was a wife beater and
right.
he's put the proof out there. And if
Yeah,
Sophie still decides to go on panel with him, I'm going to expose her. And I'm like, dude, there's nothing to expose. You know, I'm an open book. There's nothing to, but you go ahead, you expose me, you live your best life. You do what you got to do,
right,
you know?
right. I mean, and
And,
the thing is, I mean, he was on there himself, so I just didn't
right.
understand that at all. I really
Mm-hmm.
didn't get it. But anyway, so after that, after the incident, with the British thing, um, the next thing was, I began to notice that he was kicking all the people out that really had supported him, and I didn't understand that. And it was like one by one by one by one. And, and the thing was with each person, he would take it as a betrayal if you spoke to that person or went in their chat or had him in
Yeah.
your chat because
Yeah.
he'd fallen out with him.
Right.
Because he's fallen out with them doesn't mean I have. You know what I mean? People are
Yeah,
allowed
but
to disagree.
he can like whoever he wants to like, whether you like him or not.
Exactly.
But if you like somebody, oh God forbid,
Well, that's how I felt about it, and then
right,
he started in on Maddie. And, all Maddie did was he was making some sort of claim about somebody. And all Maddie did was say, do you have the receipts? Because he was, hi Grant, yes, very well, thank you. Did you have the receipt? Do you have receipts? And he exploded over that because usually he's very big on receipts. He said many, many times, I don't
right.
like to put anything up unless I've got the receipts,
Mm-hmm.
And so, they're saying, is it true that
Oh
Chicago must have
wow.
killed himself today? That is what the women in 90 Day Fiance are saying.
I have no
I
idea.
highly doubt that.
Yeah,
I
that's the
highly
first I've
doubt that.
heard it. Yeah,
Yeah,
but I doubt it.
I haven't heard that. He's not.
The man loves himself too much to do anything like
Yeah,
that.
that's what I was about to say. But anyway, so, he started off on Maddie. And the thing with Maddie was, he had kicked out, well, it kind of started with Angel, actually, because Angel, she had said she didn't want him in her chat. She wanted him, took his wrench and whatever, because Harambe had said, as long as she has him in a chat and whatever, he's going to go after her kids. This is what Angel said. So I talked to Angel about that, and that's her prerogative to do. It's her kids, it's her life. And if
Right.
that's what it takes to stop them going after her kids, then that's what it takes. She's their mother.
Whatever, yeah.
Right? So
Whatever, yes, whatever it is to keep your family safe, you're going to do.
right. So he had called me. I could never call him, and which is odd as well. If you're that trusting and whatever, you know what I mean. Everybody's got my freaking number. I couldn't care less. But in any event, so we had this conversation, and he told me in this conversation that listen, I've decided to walk away from Angel. He said, everything is good. It's nothing wrong. He said, but, I'm going to fall on the sword because she's doing it for her kids. And I don't want to see them kids, dragged over the coals or whatever. so I'm going to walk away. So I said, oh, okay. He said, you know, I totally understand where she's coming from. And I left it at that. I thought, okay, well, you know, everything's fine. No. He then makes a video and says, you know, listen, everybody, you know, I'm walking away, you know, I'm doing it for the good of Angel's kids and Angel, we're like family, blah, blah, blah. You know, he made this big speech and that he's walking away. Angel then made a video saying that's not the case. She had told him she didn't want him around anymore. She didn't want him in her chat, and that she was taking his wrench. It wasn't a case of walking away. So I think what happened there was she embarrassed him and he lost face, or felt that he did. Right. Because basically he wanted everybody to think that he just walked away. And when Angel debunked that, that's when he started in on Angel, right? And he kept, you know, I wasn't up there on a lot of those, you know, when he would go in on her at that time. He hadn't done the deadly thing yet. You know what I mean? I would hear it, but that's when he really started going in on her. And then what happened is something took place. I'm not going to go into it. And he said, oh, I'm just going to leave Angel alone, you know, or whatever. Well, we'd had a conversation about it, and he was going to do something, and I advised him against it. I said, I don't think that's a good idea, you know, and that's one time that he listened to me, I guess, and, you know, we left it alone. So next thing you know, he has a panel, you know, I come on there, you know, because what used to happen, I'd say I was going on and then I'd get busy and wouldn't, and that used to annoy him because he would say, you know, you say you're coming on and then you let me down. And then he would say things to me like, you know, I had your back, I need someone to have mine. And I did feel obligated, I'm not going to lie, because he had offended me. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And I did feel obligated. And I thought, oh, well, you know, what's the hurt to just go on the panel, you know? And then this particular time, so he asked me a direct question, and he did this on purpose, you know. Well, would you say Angel Gotti threw me under the bus? Be honest. Well, yes. I was honest. I said, well, yes. But the thing about that was, and he didn't let me finish, he kind of went on to something else. But the thing what I was trying to say was, yes, but she told you she was throwing you under the bus before she threw you under the bus. It's not like she threw you under the bus just sneakily and didn't tell you. She told you. He decided to portray the story in a different way is all. You know what I mean? And that irritated her. So she told what really happened, you know, from her end. I threw him under the bus in the very beginning. He had come out defending me against pizza. I ended up taking his wrench. He was, you know, and when he talks about wrenches, you know, he says, you know, giving a wrench is a sign of trust. And then when you take it away, you know, he takes it as a real disrespect. And so, and he felt I threw him under the bus. So, you know, it is what it is. But again, the wrench was taken because he took over the chat. He was blocking people and, you know, whatever. Every comment is him. And, you know, he was driving people away. So, you know, there wasn't really much choice to that, you know. But anyway, so we had this thing with Maddie, and I get up there again, and he's going on and on about Maddie again. And, you know, I said, well, I like Maddie, you know. So he said, well, I guess we got a problem. So I said, well, if you look at your chat, there are many people in your chat that used to, you know, go at me and whatever. I've never told him get rid of him. He was with pizza. That one was with that one. No, you know, all it's fair in love and war on YouTube, you know. So that kind of quietened him down, but he wasn't happy about it. You know, he felt that I should take Maddie's wrench and block him and all this and that. And I wasn't doing that. I wasn't doing that with any people that I've known on here a while, or
No.
that have supported me, or that I like, you know, and so that's it. And so, you know, what had happened was, right up to the doxing, I'd got up in the morning and I'd had this tweet from him, and it said, he's leaving YouTube. He doesn't want to do it anymore. You know, I forget what it said, but basically that he was leaving. And this is before the doxing. It was a couple of days before. So my last message to him actually said, you know, he had people that relied on him. People really gleaned to him. People, you know, like his little team, you know, he would be letting them down. There were subscribers that, you know, were cheering him on all the way, you know, because he was very good at what he did, you know. And so I said, you know, for you to run off I would consider that cowardly. And that was my last thing to him, you know, that was my last thing. And so what happened is Carmine called me. I'm talking to Carmine. So he said, well, what's going on? Because he got the message as well. So he said, you know, I saw what you wrote. I said, well, yeah, I mean, that's how I feel. I said, you know, it didn't matter to me if he leaves YouTube. I've already got my channel. I'm going to continue on doing what I want to do. You know what I mean? Whether I have 2 subscribers or 20 or whatever, you know what I mean? I'm going to do what I'm going to do. It didn't matter to me. But, you know, there were subscribers. There were people that, you know, like now that people are having to do apology tours to be accepted anywhere. It's ridiculous. You know what I mean? No. I mean, certain people needed an apology. Absolutely. You know, I think Tommy was sincere in his, you know, to Angel and people on this side. Yes, apologize to the people on this side that you know, went along with. But, you know, I never went along with any of that. So, you know, absolutely not. And so, you know, Tommy's was sincere. Deadly, I believe, was sincere in his apologies to people. I do. But then, you know, things have changed over there. I'm not quite sure what's going on with Deadly. You know, I thought he was going back to gaming, but, you know, now he's got every scumbag in town in his chat, you know, which I guess we'll see how that plays out, you know, but I always
we're just going to have to see.
Yeah, I mean, I always liked him. I always thought he was a, you know, unassuming, sweet guy, really. I like Deadly, you know, very quiet and, you know, Deadly, put the picture up, Deadly, you know. So anyway, so while I'm on the phone with Carmine said, is there any way that you can contact Mike Slick? He said, because I really want to talk to him. And I didn't ask him what about, but I said, well, look, I said, I'm not going to give you his number because he, you know, hasn't sanctioned it. But what he said is, okay, hi, Real Deal. He's at the doctor's right now, getting some sort of injection, he was saying. So he's going to join us if he can, but he may not be able to because he was still at the doctor's when I started. So I wanted to start a little earlier because I know people are coming on later. So what happened is I said, well, let me call Mike and see if we'll do a 3-way, you know, while you're on the phone, and then you can ask him. So I called Mike and I said, do you mind if we do a 3-way, you know, Carmine's on the phone. So he said, no problem. So we did the 3-way and we were talking and, you know, Carmine was just basically asking him, well, you know, what about the other people that are just going to be left hanging, you know, if he does this? Well, as we were talking, Chicago Muscle called. So I said, oh, he's on the phone. He's calling. So I put him in on the call. I didn't know you could do like 3 people, but I guess it worked. Anyway, so he's on the call And I think, number one, I think he thought that we were all talking behind his back. We were having these secret calls, which wasn't true, because before he called, Mike Slick said, do you want this conversation to be kept private or tell Chicago Muscle? So both Carmine and myself said, no, tell Chicago Muscle, that we've had this conversation.
Yeah, there's nothing to hide.
There was nothing to hide, and he'd gone dark anyway at this point. He wasn't responding to anyone. So,
right.
So I think that was one factor. And I think he thought maybe I was the instigator of it, but I wasn't. It was Carmine that wanted to talk to Mike. I wouldn't have made the call had Carmine not have wanted to talk to him.
Right.
And so we're talking, and I'm saying, basically what I was feeling. And he got so mad, he just basically said, go suck a dick.
Wow.
So I thought, okay, and that was it. And so what I did, I don't know how to work Twitter that well. I don't know how to leave that war room. You know what I mean? And so I was twiddling around and it said, leave conversation. So I left the conversation. And then it came up and said that I had left. I guess that didn't please him either. And then Carmine called me, he said, oh, he's left the conversation. So a little while later, I talked to Mike Slick again, and it was just me and Mike Slick. So, we were having a conversation. So I said to him, well, look, here's how I feel about it. I knew from the very beginning, or felt that Chicago Muscle was going to do this. You know what I mean? That he was going to, because he's done it several times before, right? Several times where he would go, he'd be gone for a couple of weeks, a month, whatever, and then he would come back. So he had done that more than once. So for him to leave, no, that didn't surprise me. What I didn't know was the reasoning behind it. I didn't know that basically MRE had him. I didn't know that. So so what I said to Mike Slick was, I said, look, it's inevitable. He's going to get doxxed. Everybody gets doxxed eventually on here. People might go, I think he's probably one of the longest where they haven't been able to find him. The Rat Squad been looking for him for over a year. They had a $5,000 bounty on his head, and they were no nearer to him than, I don't know, Timbuktu. In any event, really. So, but I didn't know any of this was going on behind the scenes. So I told Mike Slick, I said, he's going to get doxxed eventually. I said, now, here's the thing. If he gets doxxed, this is how I feel. I don't know about anyone else. Because what I will say about Chicago Muscle is he's been very, very effective. He's very good at what he does. We found out a lot of stuff that we would never have known otherwise, and it just turned left when he started feeling himself too much. I said, but at the end of the day, if he gets doxxed tomorrow, and this is so funny, it must be women's intuition. Maybe subconsciously I knew this was going to happen, but I really didn't. I said, if he gets doxxed tomorrow and he turns out to be an older man in a shed, or he turns out to be everything he says he is, a superhero with a cape, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day, because he was effective in what he did when we were going after a common enemy. When he started doing the other stuff, no, not so much. So I didn't, that's the way I felt about it. So Mike said, well, I feel that kind of way too, that at the end of the day, did we believe everything he was saying? No. Well, I don't know about Mike, but I didn't. There is no way in hell you can be all these things. There's just no way. It was
right.
You know what I mean? So did I think he embellished a lot? Yeah, absolutely. I had pictures of him and his wife, and he would send me pictures here and there. And, I sent him a couple of pictures of me and my grandson and stuff like that. So I think, well, I'll get to that part in a second. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's how he has handled being doxxed. That's where I feel disappointed, you know, because at the end of the day, MRE, in my opinion, MRE, the doxing of MRE was the worst doxing I've seen on here. You know, I didn't see that coming. I really didn't. I was kind of shocked, you know, and the way they did him, you know, I just thought was awful. But MRE is really a real man. You know what he did? He stood in the fire. He was on that night. He talked to everybody, you know, a lot of us on the phone. We could ask him whatever we wanted to ask him. He went on Angel's show. Angel asked him 20 questions, stuff she didn't even want to ask him. And he said, no, you can ask me whatever you want. He stood in the flames, and he's still here, going strong. They keep saying, oh, you know, his views are down, his subs are down. No, they're not. No, they're not. He gets stronger every day, you know. And I think that's admirable what he did. He didn't let them batter him down and make him run off. And here's the thing with Chicago Muscle, you know, all right, he turns out to be whoever in wherever, you know. That's nothing to what MRE went through. And he turns tail and run after everything he said, integrity, nobody's going to do this to me, all this stuff. And then you turn tail and run. So, yeah, I'm disappointed in that, in him. But as far as the rest of it, embellishing, whether you've got like a motorbike or what the hell, toys, whatever, who cares? There's 50 million people on here that do that. Look at these Instagram models, you know, they're around, you know, somebody else's pool, you know, acting like they're here and there. People do it all the time. So I don't think that is the crime of the century. Do you know what I mean? If he did embellish or whatever, I would just say, oh, well, so what? You know what I mean? But to turn tail and run, that's the part that I don't understand. I don't think he had to. I think he should have stood in the fire and said, oh, well, fuck it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know? And so, you know, that's really all I think about it. I don't think there's been many a person on here saying they got this, they got that and whatever. And, you know, and yeah, he's really roasted the Rat Squad. He really did. And, you know, he did a great job at it. He's good at what he does. And whether he's an old man sitting in a shed or if he's the superhero he says he is, I don't think it matters either way, personally. But, you know, I like that, you know, towards the end there, he was threatening MRE, and MRE rightly retaliated. You know, I don't know what he would expect.
Rightfully so. Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But, you know, I had no idea any of that was going on. You know, I did get a phone call, and, you know, I'm not going to go into that either. You know, it is what it is. It turned out the way it turned out, but I didn't know that was happening. And, you know, I was kind of surprised, but not surprised, not really, you know.
Right.
But I do believe MRE is correct. You know, the Rat Squad are taking credit for finding him and this and that. No. Actually, Harambe, you owe MRE $5,000. Okay. In my opinion. But in any event, what MRE MRE didn't even really dox him. What he did was put up a video of those people, right? Those people basically, and what MRE said was he didn't say his name. He didn't put a photograph up of him. He just put up that mural, that painting of him, which I believe is him, because I have pictures and I'm looking at the eyes. You can see that it's him, right?
Yeah.
I've no doubt that it's him. However, what MRE did was say, listen to the video and make your own mind up. Now, the reason that I think it's him is because, not because of what MRE said, not because, you know, as soon as the Rat Squad saw what MRE did, then they went running looking for, you know, whatever his name and his social media and all this and that. Well, MRE was way ahead of them. So, you know, I didn't base it on what MRE said or what the Rat Squad said. What I based it on is that those Jehovah Witness couple. They were sweet, decent people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They weren't like...
And that's what I based my decision on as well.
Yes, thank you. They were sweet, decent people. They weren't up there saying it to, you know, they wouldn't give his name, but the description of him was 100%, right? And you could see they're decent people. They're a decent family, you know, and they're, you know, religious people, whatever the hell it is they do. But I went on what they said. I mean, what did you think when you saw that? What were your first impressions?
I had turned it on and I was listening to it while I was, you know, doing things around the house. And it's like, you know, the reptiles and the computers and all these different things that Chicago Muscle also said that he was into. It's just there was too many coincidences for it not to be him.
Did he ever mention reptiles to you? He never mentioned
Yes.
snakes and things to me.
Yes, because I have a lizard, and he
Okay.
sent me pictures. He said that his wife has several reptiles
Right.
as pets.
Yeah.
And
Ah.
that just kind of made it, you know, between him saying that I don't know if he said he developed computers or whatever he did with computers.
Right.
Whatever he did with
Yeah, I
computers,
remember
he still
he did
couldn't get on
say,
StreamYard.
yeah,
So
he did tell everybody about the computer part, you know, and so that rang a bell. But the main thing that I kind of picked up on, well, there were several things kind of along the way that I was giving him the side eye at, you know, and I think the very last time he was on, or it could have been the one before, I'm not sure. But at one point he said, I'm getting ready, me and Brenda are going to get a cabin in the mountains. You know, we're going to spend time together. I'm taking the time off and we're going to go in the mountains, you know, to a cabin. Well, I thought, why in the hell are you going to go in the, you know, pay for a cabin in the mountains when you said you live in the mountains? He's always said he lives in the mountains.
yes, he did.
So I thought, well, why the hell would you need to go get a cabin? You already live there. No?
Yeah, that's what he said.
So, yeah, I thought that was
But
very...
it turns out he doesn't. So
Right. Yeah. So, you know, I thought that at the time. I thought that's a little odd, you know, and just little slip-ups he would make here and there, you
yeah,
know.
that's what I was going to say. There's little slip-ups that would, you know, stray away from the storyline, and it
Right.
would make you think a little bit.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I
It was something
remember
else. I
one
can't
day,
remember. Uh-huh.
yeah, I can't remember what else it was either, but there was something else.
Right.
I remember one day that I had asked him in the group chat, I had asked him about what's this stolen valor shit about? You know, why are people saying this? And
Oh,
he
right.
got mad. He
Right.
got mad that I questioned him. And he starts throwing up all these different, what he thought was proof. But it
Right.
didn't prove anything. It didn't prove
Right.
anything to me. It still didn't answer my question.
Right.
But yeah, it's just, I don't know.
Yeah, you know, there were little things along the way, but you know, did I ever 100% believe him? No. You know,
No.
frankly, I overlooked it because, you know, we had a common enemy. But like I said, when he started doing on everybody else, that's when it kind of really went left, you know. But at the end of the day, the doxing itself, I think he's handled the doxing itself very poorly because, you know, if MRE can stand like a man and stand in the fire, you know, and MRE has never got up there and said, I'm the biggest, the baddest, the best, you know, of everything. You know what I mean? He's never done that. So, but he did that, he ran off. So there you go. And, that's it, really. I guess that's it. Now, do you think he'll return? Because Johnny Mac and them are alluding to a big comeback. I mean, I don't know. What do you think?
No.
You don't think he will?
Not as himself. No, I don't think so.
Right.
According to Johnny Mac, this is a big test to see who's really loyal.
Well,
who would be
what?
loyal to this man after he has done all of this?
Right.
Who would be loyal to that? Not me.
MRE was the one that sent Chicago Muscle's name to SoFlo in an anon email. No, I don't believe that. No, I don't believe that for 1 second. I have my thoughts on who originally did this.
Now, that mural or paint, whatever it was, that MRE showed, that's supposed to be Chicago Muscle. He said that he had to scribble out a lot of, because it had his name and everything on there.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
he had to scribble it out. So maybe they got the same picture, and there it was.
Well, according to the Rat Squad, they all got this anonymous email from whoever, and I have my theory on that. However, what they were saying is MRE got it first, and they didn't look at theirs right away. So MRE got it, went to the social media, got the pictures, and by the time they saw it and caught up, when they went to the social media, the pictures were gone.
Right.
Because by then MRE had done a show.
He had already done a show
and alerted him. So he went and he went and got rid of all his social media pictures. So if it's not him, why would the pictures be gone? They'd still be there, right?
Right. And why hasn't he come up with uploaded a video laughing obnoxiously, telling everybody how wrong they are? Why hasn't he done that if that's not him?
Right. So. Hold on. Hang on 1 sec. Make sure. I'll say yes. Yeah, it is me, Mandy. I'm letting you know it's me. Right, yeah. So, and the thing is, because when they thought it was the Montpass family, and by the way, Harambe and Rat Squad, you owe that family a huge apology. You've had them people put up for months. The wife, the mother, the daughters, oh my God. You owe that family an apology. But you don't see, you all deserve apologies, you seem to think. Don't you think the Montpass family deserve one? Because I certainly do. That man's been dragged all over YouTube and he's an innocent. So yeah, you need to apologize to those people. Good God. Another thing Chicago Muscle did well, he did nicknames well. Not as well as MRE. MRE's always stick, but a couple of them stuck, like Cousin Tooth, and So, I mean, you have to say he did give us a laugh at times. So, it wasn't all bad. Let me put it that way.
The first time that I had ever watched MRE was the link that you had sent to what he did about Chicago Muscle, and he nailed it.
Oh my God!
A couple of weeks ago.
I nearly pissed myself laughing. I wasn't sure what to expect. And just the way he, it was funny. Anyway, so, that's it really. That's really all I had to say. One more thing. Angela said yesterday that no one had done anything, as far as, like my social stuff like that. And this is one of the things that had really pissed me off with that group. And I started withdrawing from there, is because in the chat, they would all be talking about, oh yeah, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And I had said in that chat, I said, it seems like everybody's talking about doing something and they're not doing it. I guess I'm going to be on my own with this. In fact, I did a video stating that as far as, you know, what I do about it, I'm doing on my own. You know what I mean? What they're doing is what they're doing, you know. But at no time have I ever called anyone's work or anything like that, or tried to contact that firm. There is no way, because it spoils my case. You know what I mean? I'm not doing that. I'm not an idiot. That's what you pay attorneys for. Okay? So they're trying to rope me in that. That's some bullshit. That's their... I don't know who called the work. I really don't.
I have no idea. I didn't.
No, I didn't even know they had, to tell you the truth. And I don't know who called them. But they're reeling off all these people today. And I didn't hear that. You know what I mean? So I don't know who called them. And I don't care who called them. They don't care about calling, you know, people called Johnny Mac's wife's work and tried to get, you know, and get her fired and all this and that, you know, and that originally came from that side, because that's what they do. You know, they try to ruin your life completely and totally, you know. Hi, Razorhead, how are you? And so I'll just, hi, Angel, how you doing? BK, he went at me first. Everyone stood in there with him. I'm not going at him. At them, give Laurie a break. Yeah, I mean, that's true, you know. But that worked kind of the same way. You know what I mean? That was really their argument. You know, did I like what it... No. He did, you know, he didn't really talk to me about Angel, other than, you know, something happened, and, you know, he was angry, and, you know, he was going to do something, and then he, you know, I told him I didn't think that was a good idea, and, you know, he didn't end up doing it. And after that, he said he's not going to, you know, he's leaving it alone and whatever. So BK, no, BK Charlene, I don't remember you being around at all, actually, at that point. No, but I mean, many people were, and many people, you know, yeah, I think he was careful with Angel, because quite honestly, I think that there was a bit of fear there. I'm not sure.
That's what I was going to say. He didn't want to piss her off too bad.
No, there was, because as soon as, you know, the incident before this incident, you know, he was ranting and raving when he called me, and then, you know, he kind of calmed down. I don't know. It was weird. You know, his from what towards the end there, he was really going to go after MRE again. You know, that was the thing, and then that changed also. So, you know, it was hard to know, and I don't know what the issue was with him and MRE, because MRE had always supported him and whatever. I know that he didn't go in his chat, you know, and he explained why. Maybe that was a sore point with him. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But he never really discussed any of that with me, you know, because, you know, he had his war council, which was really Mike, Slick, Deadly, and Brittany. You know, they were really the war council. We were kind of, me and Carmine were on the peripheral. In fact, Carmine used to say, have you checked in with the Fuhrer this morning? I said, no. You know, I have other stuff to do. You know, I'm really well into Chronicles 2 now, and it's going very, very well, you know, so.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
I think it's going to end up reading like the bloody Bible. You know what I mean? The first book was kind of small. I mean, there are just so many things that have happened between last year and now, you know, because I'm going to bring it up to date, you know, but I spent yesterday and today writing what happened here. You know what I mean? Because I wanted it fresh. Well, I wanted it fresh in my mind. You know what I mean? So, yeah, so it's going to be interesting read. And everybody is in it this time. Everybody. So there we go. All right, people.
Everybody?
Well, yeah, everybody, including you. But I
Oh
changed your
man.
name. I changed your
Okay.
name.
I don't
And
mind.
yeah, I changed
I
everybody's name because you know. So what do you think? What do you all think about the new liaison between Johnny Mac and Tony Pizza?
think it's bullshit, if you ask me.
Right.
I do.
Well, you know, I I don't know what to say. I mean, you know, the problem with Tony Pizza is he can't help himself. I mean, from what I understand, stand-up guy has been struck down for 2 weeks. He's been, struck. What is it called? Suspended for 2 weeks,
Yeah.
and really because of Tony Pizza. Because
Mm.
it was at the N word every 5 seconds, and
Right.
whatever. And so I think Johnny Mac may run into the same thing. And I say that because Tony Pizza just cannot help himself. I watched Johnny Mac last night, and Tony Pizza once again calling people mud turtles,
Yep.
porch monkeys. I mean, here
And
we
I'm
go again.
sure Johnny Mac's wife does not like hearing that.
No, hi,
I'm assuming, but I don't know.
Right, hi, Murray. Yeah, I think. Well, I personally think Johnny Mac was probably cringing inside, because he at one point. Hi, 5-6
I would
Mina.
hope so.
Yeah, at one point, um, you know, Tony Pizza was laughing the cock off himself. He just thought it was so funny, that
Wow.
look at the porch monkey, look at the porch monkey, and he thought it was so
Mm.
funny. I think Johnny Mac's going to run into probably the same problem that
Yeah.
stand-up guy is going through right now. So I guess
But from what I hear, this isn't the first time that they've been partners, is it? Or what?
no. Sorry, I'm drinking some water. What happened in the beginning, Pizza came on first, and then Johnny Mac started a channel and called it Pizza Army. And so, he had like a really good following, actually. They worked up a good following. Pizza was getting all these super chats. He was getting hand over fist, money, excuse me. And Chicago Muscle was in that chat. He was a Pizza Army
Oh
person.
wow.
And then Tony Pizza was so like awful. I mean, not just about women. Hold on just 1 second. 1 minute.
But yeah, I mean, for this Tony Pizza guy to be so horrible, I just can't imagine anybody willingly wanting to be on panel with him.
Well, I mean, he is a funny guy. You know what I mean? He's just like a real kind of New Yorker. He says whatever, but
Mhm.
the racial slurs, the way he talks about women, he thinks up the most crazy stuff to say about
Right.
people. I mean, really crazy stuff. And he developed people liked that, I guess, and they fell for him. Me and him used to go hammer and tong,
Oh, I'm sure.
right? And eventually, Chicago Muscle said that he was a Tony Pizza. He was in Tony Pizza's, had a wrench and everything. But you see, the thing was, I never used to look at Tony Pizza's chat. You know what I mean? When I'm watching a show, I don't really read the chat. What people are
No,
saying.
me
I'm
neither.
listening.
I'll listen while I'm doing things, but I really
Yeah,
don't,
I'm not really looking at the chat. So I never saw Chicago Muscle in there. But many people have said to me, he said he was in there a few days. A lot of people have said he was in there a lot longer than that. But I don't know that because I wasn't looking at the chat, so I don't know if he was in there or not. I don't know what he said. You know, people were saying he was making racial slurs. I don't know because I didn't see it. But what I do know is, you know, after a little while, he approached me and said he didn't like, you know, the way Pizza was talking and blah, blah, blah. And then he went to bat for me with Pizza, and he basically tore down the man's channel. He went after Pizza. He went after the subscribers because they were in there making racial slurs, doing the same thing. Mike Slick was a right-hand lieutenant of Pizza's, would you believe?
Wow.
Yeah. And so what happened is Chicago Muscle started putting their pictures up and saying who they were. You know, Mike Slick was in that group. And finally, I guess he'd had enough of that. And so Mike Slick got out, and Mike Slick did apologize to me, you know, and I accepted his apology. I'm not a grudge bearer. And, you know, and so it went from there. I actually quite like Mike Slick now, you know, but at the time, they were all Pizza Army. And then basically, Chicago Muscle tore his channel down, and he never really got back to where he was. You know what I mean? And so now with Johnny Mac, this may be his opportunity to get things back. However, you know, he's going to have to cut down the racial slurs, you know, the foul language, because YouTube are really starting to look at that with these channels.
Yes,
you know,
yes.
me included. I've got a potty mouth, and I'm really trying not to swear.
I think I watched these channels of people that tell you how to grow your channel or different things that YouTube is doing or changing or whatever. And I think the cuss words were like, if anything within like the first 8 seconds of your show gets taken out. After that, I guess it's fair game.
Well, okay. Hi, Amond. What I noticed was
Carmine's in the chat. He said, check your messages.
Oh, okay. Hold on one second. I will.
Yeah. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
no,
it's okay. I didn't want it to go past. But yeah, this Tony Pizza guy seems like a character. I'm not saying anything bad about him because I don't know him personally, but he seems like a character. I hope
okay, so he said he's leaving the doctor's office. He had his chemo treatment, and he said it'll take him a few minutes to get to the car. So I just asked him if he wants to come on for a minute.
Okay.
Hi, Del Strain. Bad Vegan Star thinks his show and him is like a major league, the way he abused show. Oh, that did make me. Did you see that outside of Starbucks? Oh, my God. Okay. Hi, Mob Rats. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I'll give Carmine a couple of minutes. But, you know, I want to get off because what time is it? It's almost 8 o'clock.
It's 8 o'clock.
If you want, okay, hang on. If you want for a few minutes to say your piece. Your piece. I'm just going to tell him to grab the link. Okay. Yeah, he's coming in. Yeah, he really had something to say about this, because what had happened, apparently in the war room, they had been going after Carmine. Apparently.
What?
Oh, hang on. In the war room, they had been going after Carmine. Now, I didn't see this. See, this is why I was never really looking at the war room. Carmine, do you want me to drop a link, or do you want the link I gave you? Can you use that, or do you want me to drop a link?
MRE asked for you to drop the link.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Invite. Okay, did that drop? Yeah, there's a link. Yeah, I just dropped the link. It's going to take me a few minutes. So, okay. Okay, don't worry.
So he was Chicago Muscle.
Well, yeah, apparently there was something going on. Okay, hold on. Here's MRE. Okay. Hi, MRE. How are you?
How you doing? What's going on? My ship in the port where you're gonna sail to Nassau, and I needed more people. No, what's going on, everybody?
What's up?
No. What did I hear? There might be a return of Tig. Tig might pop his head out of the bushes. That would be a mistake.
That's what word on the YouTube streets is.
Well, that comes from the orphan boy, Mac, who's a little orphan boy shaking his can. He just wants to go in a house and sleep next to pizza at night in a beautiful cardboard box, curl up next. They just need friends, so they want Tig to come back. But anybody to watch Tig, he treated you all like scumbag. He lied to everybody. When you steal valor like that, the whole nine, and he's ripped people off. This guy is a total scam artist. So Tig, if you pop your head out and you act stupid, or you pop your head out, Tig, we might just go talk to all the people you ripped off and have them on for an interview. Yeah, because this guy's a scam. I ripped a lot of people off.
Well, you know,
right? Because that nice little that nice couple still has their YouTube channel.
Yeah, and the other people too. And I want to say I did not give what did they say? I gave them someone's Tig's info. If I was gonna do that, I would have just blasted it on there, you know? And I would never or think about this. Wouldn't I have sold it to Harambe or had some third party sell it to him and I don't do that. I would never deal with sex offenders. I don't deal with them people. I don't care if they offer me $20,000 and I wouldn't give them nothing. At all. And I don't feel bad for Tig. I hope they don't torture his family and stuff, but I don't feel bad for somebody like Tig, an egomaniac, a con man right from the start, the jump. Everything he told you was a lie. So he fed people feces and just fed them feces. So I don't. Tig could probably come back. He might have 4 or 5 people in his chat, some maybe like cardboard heroes and some Mac guys. That's about it. But Tig will always be known as the con man and scammer. And if he's around, all his enemies got to do is go to the people he ripped off and interview them. So it wouldn't be smart. He should just find another community, a Matchbox car community somewhere or something. Who knows? Whatever.
Yeah. Sophie said that she thinks he'll be back as someone else, probably. But, you know, I just feel like when Johnny Mac and them are saying that, it's almost like they're laying the groundwork to try and make people think, oh, could it be him? Maybe it's not him. Maybe it is. But I believe that to be him 100%.
Of course it is. Come on. Yes. Just like this lady said right here. Don't take it for listen to them two people, how they described Tig to a T.
Yes.
She described him to a T.
Right. And the Rat Squad said yesterday that after Mark just said, Deadly said he sent FBS and Tony the video after he watched your show. And so they got that. They owe you $5,000.
I wouldn't take it. He could take that and he can go donate it to SeaWorld. I don't want nothing to do with his money. I would never take money from the guy. And I don't want I didn't dox the guy. You know what I mean? I didn't put his info. If I was going to do that, I would just do it on my name and be like, yeah, I did it. Here it is. F you. Because this guy is planning. I'm planning his destruction. I'm going to eat him alive. Cujo, I was bit by a bat. Who's the boss? Kid, I'm going to eat him. He's a twisted old soul con man. That's all he is.
Right. But the thing is, even if he came back, you know, his voice is so distinctive. The laugh. I mean,
even with a voice changer, you're gonna know who it is. There's no way of him coming back here in case he comes back as Tig and says I'm mentally ill and I like lying and ripping people off. And yes, I've ripped a lot of people off.
I mean, he's gonna have to come back. If he does come back, he's gonna have to just put his hands up. You know, because I just think the way he handled that was, you know, you stood in the freaking fire. I think your doxing was way worse. You know what I mean?
I knew that was going to happen the day I started my channel. I knew they would find me, and I wasn't going to go nowhere. No, definitely not.
Right.
But Tig's a different creature. Tig's a different beast. Tig is a con man who goes to different communities and cons people, you know?
Yeah.
I was a troll who trolled Durkee for scamming, others for scamming. I trolled pedophiles. And then I started trolling stool pigeons because what they'd done to my family. That's why I started doing that. Tig was just a con man. I never said things. I never tried to look cool. Everything. I've downed myself and said I had deformities and I was an ugly creature. I said all kinds of things.
Yeah.
I never once tried to make myself look cool or nothing like that. Tig was a control freak who wanted to control people, and literally Chicago Koresh, literally.
Okay.
Without
I'm putting
Applewhite.
this link for Carmine because he's got something to say. They, I was just saying before you came on, they had in the war room, and I missed this. You know, I didn't see it, but apparently they were saying that Carmine was, first of all, he's Arthur Stewell. I don't know. He can explain what happened, but they really made him upset. And you know what's going on now? Kevin is harassing him. You know, because
Isn't that guy the former CO? The former CO.
Yeah.
What is a former CO doing acting like? That's just some weird stuff. Weird stuff.
It's totally weird.
And another thing I wanted to say before he came on real quick is that I only talked to Chicago Muscle one time. Do people believe that if you think I'm dumb enough, or you think I would talk to someone one time and trust them and confide in them? Or no, I'm no dummy. This ain't my first rodeo.
Who's saying that you were talking to him?
I guess a few people asked questions on my channel.
Oh, okay. Hey, Carmine, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay, Josie. Good evening, everybody. MRE.
How you doing? Nice to meet you, Carmine.
Nice.
Okay,
I'm going to jump off and let you guys talk.
Okay,
MRE, before you jump off, I'd like to clarify one thing, if I could, with you, please, sir.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
I for a long time, because of my sickness, took a sabbatical but I listened to all of your talks on ancient Rome. I had asked you about I Claudius, and I listened to your talks on him because they have fact in them. I am a professor, and I appreciate what you do. And when this whole mess got mixed up, I have something to straighten out with Angel. But I had written in one of the notes on Instagram, not Instagram, I always say Instagram for Twitter, that I said that I couldn't believe any of the stories that they were putting out about you based on the fact I'm a Eucharistic minister in the church. My faith is very strong, and I can tell, and I believe your faith is strong. And anybody that had a faith like you or I have would not want to harm people in any way. And I don't need no smoking guns and nothing else. I believe in God the same way, and I believe that I'm not going to question your faith. So I just want to say, and I
appreciate that,
saying that she made a good choice in always defending you, because I thought that you were an honest man, and that you. So all the stories, there are people on here that want to exactly, the truth about things that I say, but I wanted you to hear it from my mouth. If there's any deviation to that, you can bring it right back to the horse's mouth to me. I think that you do a good job with what you do, and I'm not looking to play. I think you are who you are.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I appreciate that. But I am who I am. I'm not a terrorist. That's ridiculous. They said I had bombs. If I had bombs, it would have been in the newspaper. Like they showed the 2 rifles and the 2 handguns. They would have showed explosives. I'm not a terrorist. And nobody knows what's in my heart but me. You
took care of your family when they were sick. I took care of my father for 6 years who had dementia. Washed him, cleaned him, fed him every day. So I understood when you said things. They hit home to me because they're personal. That's just what good children do for their elders.
Yeah, amen to that, for sure.
So I just wanted you to know that I appreciate that, and in the big picture, there are some things that just need to be left on YouTube, and there are things about people that we shouldn't desecrate. And one thing was your faith. I don't think that's. I hold the Blessed Sacrament in my hand the same way. I wouldn't want someone to question my faith.
Yeah, well, thanks. No, I am a religious person. I don't know. What did he say? I wasn't a religious person. I was just lying about it or something.
Well, he continued. I called him the Führer. I mean, as far as the Fuhrer considered, you were worse than Himmler. I mean, my God. I mean, and I kept asking him, what is your proof? Before you call a man and equate him to somebody as evil as Hitler or one of these type of sociopaths, what is your proof? And he would just tell me, don't worry about it. I got time.
Listen, he would praise me, right? How long did he praise me? All up until a few weeks ago, about a week ago. He's the best. He's my friend. I love him. He's a brother. Yeah.
And that other thing that he wanted to have a sit down. You're not a captain. You're not a skipper. You're not. That's bullshit.
No, nothing like that. I was never a gangster. Nothing like that. He wants to sit. Yeah, he's just mad because I wouldn't partner up with and team up with him. He was copping deuces and begging for a reprieve. I said no. You're walking the plank, Tig.
And I thought you did a good job, and I thought what you did was respectful. I watched it, and it answered a lot of questions in my mind because I'm a scientist. I do things by deductive reasoning. I look at things, I evaluate the facts that there are on hand, and draw a conclusion. And there are too many. That picture of those people, the Jehovah's Witness people, draws too many circumstantial conclusions that you have to come up with something stronger than that because it hits too many times. It triggers too many times.
Right.